And I wanted to wait until after I drummed to know where I wanted to pull from in the lessons today, or just to talk. And I think I'll go with the Yoga Sutras. Yoga Sutras is a form of ancient text or sacred text for well-being, and that stems from India, second to the Vedas. And the second sutra is the most important. I've seen the second sutra discussed in metaphysical classes, in TED Talks, in all forms of well-being platforms when it comes to understanding your mind, when it comes to the basic steps of self-mastery. So the second sutra, which is said to be the most important when it comes to all the sutras, because the other sutras just show you how to accomplish the second one. And it's yogas, chitta, vritti, nirodha. And that is Sanskrit for the restraint of the modifications of the mind stuff is yoga. And for those of you who don't know what yoga is, yoga means to unite. So I know a lot of people, when you think of yoga, you think of the asanas, the postures or positions. That's one limb in the whole that helps you experience and live the life of yoga with harmonious insides, with that grounding insides that aligns with and harmonizes with the divine. So it starts in the mind. Just like one of the Hermetic principles is mentalism. If you cannot understand and have control of your mind, you have nothing. It is the thoughts that lead the energies within your body. When it comes to grief, when it comes to struggle, when it comes to just pain in general, when it comes to anxiety, when it comes to self-doubt, when it comes to just wasting time. And I know no time can be wasted, right? Unless it's in your mind, just going with no purpose. You're just letting your brain run free, and that's a form of the lack of mental health. So with this sutra, the restraint of the modifications. What does modifications mean? Continuous to modify, right? So that means to change. So when your brain is in having images that are continuously changing and altering, there's no yoga, there's no balance, there's no harmony, there's no control. If you cannot, the meditation aspect of yoga is not just to observe your thoughts and be to understand them before you go into the aspect of the mind that is desire. So let's talk about that, and then we'll bring it all together. So chitta is the mind stuff. Chitta is broken up into layers, right? So it's the ego, that's the I. It's desire. It is the weighing out of something, like basically going from saying that's ice cream to that's white ice cream or vanilla ice cream. And in doing this, your mind goes through these processes all the time. And if you cannot focus on one thing without the distractions that modify your mind, then you are not at peace. Because at that point, you're not operating as the being. You're operating as the brain. You're operating in the flesh. You're operating in the world. You're not allowing the being to be and operate and live through that. For example, say I'm in meditation, and the point of my meditation is to calm my emotional state, to regulate my emotions so that I can think from a calm space in order to solve a problem and not be problem solving from an emotional space of anger or any other type of triggered emotion. But while I'm in that meditation, focused on my calming my emotional state, desire comes in. And desire usually comes in through your senses. So I may smell some food in the kitchen and forget all about the fact that I'm supposed to be focusing in on regulating my emotions, and my mind starts to modify. And it goes to the other aspect of the brain that wants to figure out what the smell is. So first you got the desire, right? Like, ooh, what's that? And then your mind tries to figure out what it was. Is that a stew? What kind of stew? What's in that stew? I think I smell cumin. Is that garlic? Is that bell pepper? I think I do. I should have some stew. That's the ego. The ego places yourself into the image, and then motivates action. So at the moment in which you have no restraint over those modifications, and your senses are what's moving your every movement, you're being conditioned. You're not being. You're in constant state of this because your desire is going to keep going and your phone going to ring. You're going to hear a message. You're going to hear a car go by and park outside. You're going to hear a dog bark. Somebody going to knock on your door. It's too many things. So the practice of yoga is a life understanding that. And learning to take charge of your being. To live in the being in the body. And not in your desires and in your ego. It's there for a reason. That aspect of your mind is there for a reason, but it should not rule. Because that aspect of the mind is really the brain reacting. It's not even the being. You are the being. The body is the suit. And that is part of the goal of yoga, is to understand that you are not the body or the mind, which is a lifelong practice that most people will not perfect. But you can get better and better at it, and you can check yourself a lot faster. You can ground and center yourself a lot faster if you pay attention to your own mind and the regulation of your nervous system in your emotions, and not let it rule you. That actually want peace, actually want well-being.